Where have all the middle grade mystery books gone? When was the last time you read a good middle grade whodunit mystery? There don't seem to be very many published these days. Why is that? I'm Bridger, and welcome to the Library Ladder. I grew up reading children's mystery stories, not just the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, but many other series and standalone books. And I still read a fair amount of middle grade fiction today. For several years now, I've helped lead a book club for 5th and 6th graders at my kids' school, and that's helped me become better acquainted with current children's authors. Which brings me back to the current plight of children's mysteries. When I was a kid, I thought it was great fun to match wits with youthful sleuths who populated countless books published from the 1920s through the 1960s. It's probably no accident that the rise of children's mystery books during that period coincided with the golden age of adult mystery stories, as authors such as Agatha Christie, Ellery Queen, and Dashiell Hammett popularized the genre and transformed it from a marginalized and pulpy niche to a mainstream, and dare I say it, respectable form of writing. Children's book publishers such as Grosset and Dunlap, Whitman, and Couples and Leon recognized the trend in adult works and jumped on the mystery bandwagon for kids. Take a gander at the mini book series aimed at kids published during that 40-year stretch in the mid-20th century, and it seemed like every adolescent and teen protagonist was encountering and solving mysteries back then. So, was crime more rampant back then? Or were kids just more inclined to take initiative and use their analytical and observational powers to help others during that era? I'm simply wondering. From the Hardy Boys to the Happy Hollisters, from Judy Bolton to Jerry Todd and Poppy Ott, from Nancy Drew to the Bobbsey twins. Even Gregory Peck and Barbie were solving mysteries. Also, established crime and mystery writers for adults, such as Charles Spain Verrill, August Derleth, Ellery Queen, and Robert Arthur tried their hand at children's mysteries, with terrific results in The Brains Benton, Mill Creek Irregulars, Ellery Queen Jr., and Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators series. And I highly recommend all 4 of those series. They're exceptionally well plotted and have appealing characters. I'm especially fond of the Three Investigators series, particularly the first 10 books or so, which were written by Arthur before his death in 1969, after which other authors were recruited to write the remaining books in the series. By the 1970s, though, traditional middle grade mysteries were tapering off. Even the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew became less focused on solving mysteries and instead incorporated more adventure and even some romantic elements in their plots. Also, fantastical and supernatural elements began appearing in what were still being marketed as mystery books. And as an aside, I'll note that Donald J. Sobel continued to write his excellent Encyclopedia Brown series, but those arguably were targeted at a slightly younger set of readers. In my opinion, over the past 40 years or so, the lines defining the children's mystery genre have become blurred, as authors and publishers try to broaden their appeal to kids today by blending in elements from other genres. I'd argue that most of the books marketed as middle grade mysteries in recent years aren't true mysteries. Instead, they're essentially fantasy or adventure stories that happen to have mysterious elements in them. In many of the books, either the central focus of the plot isn't really about finding and following clues to solve a mystery, or the fantastical elements of the story make the underlying mystery too unrealistic or unbelievable to be considered a true mystery. Some examples of these blended mysteries that I believe really belong to other genres include the Sisters Grimm series by Michael Buckley, Click Here to Start by Dennis Markell, the Book Scavenger series by Jennifer Chambliss Bertman, the Wollstonecraft Detective Agency series by Jordan Stratford, Blue Balliet's Chasing Vermeer series, Chris Gravenstein's Mr. Limoncello's Library series, and the Theodosia Throckmorton series by R. Lefevre's. And I'd like to add that I really enjoyed reading those last 3 series, Chasing Vermeer, Mr. Limoncello, and Theodosia Throckmorton. They're wonderful stories, full of adventure and, in some cases, the fantastical, with a dash of mystery. They're not true whodunits, however. Regarding the other examples I listed, well, let's just say that I didn't enjoy them nearly as much, due to major plot holes, plot contrivances, or annoying characters. So where are today's equivalents to Ellen Raskin's excellent The Westing Game? There are some authors striving to preserve the detection and crime-solving roots of the children's mystery genre. Sheila Turnage's Moe and Dale series is a good example. James Ponti's Framed series and its Theory of All Small Things, or TOAST for short, evokes the careful attention to detail of Sherlock Holmes. Friday Barnes' Girl Detective by R.A. Spratt has a plucky heroine who uses her smarts to solve mysteries that baffle adults. Unfortunately, I think this series of books is marred by an overly snarky tone and characters who are written as extreme caricatures. Friday is a super genius, and all of the adults are befuddled imbeciles. And then there's Space Case by Stuart Gibbs, which could be categorized as a science fiction book with mystery elements. But I think the first book in the series really is more of a mystery story that happens to be set on the moon. Also, is it surprising that some of the most notable children's mysteries by today's authors have historical settings, often overlapping the classic and golden age cozy mysteries from which they clearly draw inspiration? Examples include Robin Stevens' Murder Most Unladylike series, also known as the Wells and Wong series in the US, which is set in a 1930s English boarding school. Nancy Springer's Enola Holmes series featuring Sherlock Holmes's younger sister. Philip Pullman's Sally Lockhart series. Catherine Woodfine's The Sinclairs Mystery series, which reads like a mashup of Sally Lockhart and the Mr. Selfridge TV show from a few years ago. Caroline Lawrence's Roman Mystery series. And best of all, Alan Bradley's Flavia de Luce series, which was actually written for adults, but has an utterly precocious and disarmingly straightforward adolescent protagonist. I should note that, due to some graphic content, those historical mysteries are probably best suited for slightly older kids, at least 6th grade. And does it seem odd to you that so many of those historical mysteries are set in England and feature spunky and independent-minded female sleuths? Has the cozy mystery subgenre become so narrowly defined? Or has detective fiction in general lost its broad appeal to boy readers? Please note that I'm not at all trying to pigeonhole books according to stereotyped perceptions of their gender appeal. I fundamentally disagree with that approach. I'm just observing what seems to be a shift in the children's mystery books that authors and publishers are producing these days, and I'm wondering what has prompted that shift. Is it a cause or an effect? And if so, of what? Finally, although not quite a mystery story, the modern legal thriller has a kid-friendly version in John Grisham's Theodore Boone Kid Lawyer series. They're a lot like the Perry Mason stories Earl Stanley Gardner wrote more than 80 years ago, but without the lurid covers and content. Those are some noteworthy examples of recent children's mysteries, but they represent only a tiny fraction of the middle-grade fiction books published these days. Where are today's books featuring amateur kid detectives solving crimes in their own backyards? Where are the stories of youthful student journalists looking to crack open a crime ring through their intrepid investigative reporting? Is it harder today to craft realistic and compelling mysteries for kids? Has modern technology made it too easy for characters to find the information they need and to extricate themselves from difficult or dangerous situations? Have traditional low-tech gumshoe detection techniques used by child sleuths in the past lost their relevance or appeal in today's high-tech world? Or is it that authors and publishers are simply responding to fundamental changes in children's reading tastes? I hope it's not the case that many kids today don't want to read books that encourage them to exercise logic and discernment. Likewise, I hope it's not that they find it more entertaining to immerse themselves in the incoherent spectacle and conflict found in many books, movies, and video games today. Nevertheless, it's difficult to ignore what appear to be clear trends in children's book publishing in recent years. What do you think about this? Have I overlooked some recent children's mysteries that are gems? Do you believe the mystery genre holds the same significance for kids as it once did? Is there anything that can be done to reverse the shift away from mystery fiction? Let me know in the comments section. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if so, please click the like button below. Please also consider subscribing to this channel by clicking on the library ladder icon in the bottom right corner. Thanks for watching.